This past Friday, me and a few friends traveled over to Cambridge to check out a film that is not coming out in the UK until 2022. Was it worth it? This is my review of The Eyes of Tammy Faye. In the 1970s and 80s, Tammy Faye and Jim Bakker rose from humble beginnings to create the world's largest religious broadcasting network and a theme park. And both were revered for their messages of love, acceptance, and prosperity. Now, before I properly start with my review, I want you to let me know your thoughts, not just on the film, but on the whole scandal, these two personalities. If you have any contact with them prior to the film, let me know anything and everything down there in the comments below. Because if you like movies and TV, this is the place to be, so make sure to click that subscribe button if you enjoy what you see here and you don't miss any future conversation on your favorite movies and TV. Now, just a little bit of background between me and these personalities, this film, the real life story of it. I had never heard of these people or of their work or of the scandal until the trailer for this came out. So I have nothing good or bad to say about them and what they did. I am just completely cold when it comes to going into watching this film. And I want to start by saying that Jessica Chastain is just as sensational as you've been hearing she is. She utterly transports herself into this role, and it's not just her putting on some fantastic makeup that is probably gonna win Best Makeup and Hairstyling at the Oscars, and she looks like the person. She utterly devotes herself to this role and embodying this person, from her voice, her accent, her mannerisms, her body language, her little giggles whenever she laughs, how she delivers the lines. Everything is a transformation to every minute detail, and Chastain is stellar in it. Not to disregard Andrew Garfield, who is also really good in this role. He's almost being outshined by Chastain because she's just on another level, but Garfield is really great in this as well. The film is directed by Michael Showalter, who has showed in the past by directing The Big Sick, one of my favorite films from the year it came out, that he can do a good job at balancing comedy and drama very well. And this is one of the funniest films I have seen this entire year. The film is just very good at poking fun at the flamboyance, the over-the-topness, the exaggerated nature of just everything that was going on back in the day, because at its core, all this were two delusional narcissists manipulating an entire nation through the commercialization of their faith. And seeing how they got to that, the film is also not above showing realistically why people engaged with them, why people were attracted to their messages, their ideals. And what this shows as well is a very toxic relationship, a very strained marriage through the years, as one clearly becomes the manipulator and the other the manipulated. And so seeing the world and this entire story as they grow in prominence and into the spotlight through this lens, it's extremely entertaining and interesting. But then we have to dive into the characterization, which brings us into the issues I have with this film, because the characterization is very weak. The ideas, the concepts, the angle with which this film is trying to tackle the story is great. And that first hour is a firecracker of pure entertainment. Just seeing how insane this entire story was in the beginning and how they got to television in the first place. But after that, it starts to feel very much like a typical biopic that wants to cover so much, it remains unfocused, and you can tell through the characterization that is just very weak. The performances from Chastain and Garfield, while sensational, the characters are just not nuanced whatsoever. Tammy Faye is presented as just perfect. There's nothing bad about her. She has no malice onto her. She has all the best intention, and she just does good things. There's not a single mistake she makes this entire film. You can say she puts on more and more makeup as the years go by and only drinks Diet Coke and doesn't make really healthy choices about what she puts in her body, but that she's only hurting herself. She's not really intentionally even hurting other people, so she's just portrayed as a pitch perfect person, as a literal angel. While Jim Bakker, on the other hand, becomes this person who, yes, good intentions, but is just very, very bad a person. Only has these very greedy goals and motivations at hand, and so it paints both these characters in a very black and white light. And maybe in real life they were exactly that. I don't know. But in a film, in a narrative, it just really doesn't work. I couldn't relate to either of them. The film also starts with archival footage and news clips and newspaper articles of when the scandal broke out and everything was revealed and whatnot. And then we transition into the film. And that start to the film was really interesting because I wanted to see it tackle this story, everything they were doing, and really doesn't. It focuses a lot on the characters without really giving them any nuance, and then the scheming behind the scenes pops up every now and then to remind us, oh, something is happening, but it doesn't fully explore it. It's always in the background until suddenly it isn't as we transition from second act into third act, and so it all feels too sudden. It feels too much for this film, where 85% on it focuses on the marriage and the dynamics between this couple, which were interesting. The scandal behind it, which supposedly was what this film wanted to tackle, is not really all that present or even all that powerful when finally it comes into the foreground and guides the story through. My last issue is that unfortunately the film ends on a sour note. The last 15 minutes, not counting credits of this film, feel like they don't belong here. They feel like they're tacked on. While in concept I understand how it was maybe important to show how Tammy Faye moved on from all of this and tried to make a living for herself after the whole scandal, without spoiling anything, in execution it feels like the film is mocking her a bit, and so that final scene really left a sour taste in my mouth. The Eyes of Tammy Faye has an interesting angle with which it wants to tackle its story and delivers two sensational performances from its leads, but it doesn't allow itself to dive deep into the dynamics of this marriage, of the televangelism world, and on the scandal that eventually brought this very famous couple from the limelight into obscurity. I think on the surface it's very entertaining, it's very funny, but it just doesn't have that edge that elevates it beyond that. I'm giving The Eyes of Tammy Faye a C+. Those are my thoughts on The Eyes of Tammy Faye. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to let me know your thoughts on it in the comments below, not just on the film, but if you have any experiences with this couple directly or indirectly. I want to know your story if you're willing to share, so let me know all of that in the comments below. And remember, this is the place to be if you like movies and TV, so make sure to click that subscribe button if you enjoyed what you saw here, and you'll be present for the next discussion on your favorite movies and TV. I have reviews for the episodes 1 and 2 of The Wheel of Time, the entire series of Cowboy Bebop, Encanto, Ghostbusters, Tick Tick Boom, and others, and I'll be back very soon with more reviews, including Masters of the Universe Part 2 and Hawkeye, the first 2 episodes. I hope to see you in those. So until the next one, love each other and love the movies.